Viva OC examination of this OC. Her thesis has been sent to 3 external examiners. They have examined and all the 3 have recommended the thesis for the award of as per our ordinance OB 9A point 10, there has to be a public Viva OC examination in which one of the examiners who evaluated the thesis will be acting as external examiner here, consisting of part of the board of examination, wherein I am the chairperson and Professor Ahmad as the guide is the coordinator. And for this, our honorable external examiner, Professor N.S. Atri from Punjabi University. Of course, those who are working in the field know sir's name very well. Though I am not from the field, I also know the name very well because simply I happen to have some interest in these things. So with this, I welcome you all, and I ask our coordinator of the Board of Examination and the guide, Dr. Kamar, to introduce the exam. Dr. Kamar, please.
Very good morning to all, and to all the women as well as men here assembled. Greetings of 110th International Women's Day, which was actually celebrated on international level by the United Nations resolution in 1975, but it all began in 1909 by Socialist Party of USA in USA. And thereafter, there was a demand to have it internationally. So, it so happened that the candidate we will be examining today has this opportunity to remember this presentation on this historic day, that is International Women's Day, and we having 70% and more women representation in our university, and more than 80% representation of PhD students are women. I think this is a really great occasion. And today we have for examination, as the chairman of Board of Examination has just now told you, a very eminent mycologist and mushroom biologist from North India, that is Professor Atri here, Narindra Singh Atri. He is from Department of Botany, Punjabi University, Patiala. And I won't go through the long biodata because again I have to introduce him in the afternoon for a very important and interesting and useful lecture on mushrooms. Since I joined Department of Microbiology, Bombay University here, CPIR, for PhD, I was going through the literature in the pre-internet days. And most of the papers on mushroom taxonomy which I came across, on the little work that was available that time in print, on agaricales, that is fleshy fungi, fleshy mushrooms, I found that large number of papers had those authors, Saini and Atri, and today I had a long discussion, yesterday also I had discussed with him, because that combination of these two authors, Saini and Atri, always remembered, and large number of papers with beautiful description, drawings and all of mushrooms of different families, genera, and it was a very important lesson for us how to do systematic taxonomy, systematic field work, because he is a meticulous field worker. While having a breakfast, he gave me a detailed idea of how we explored the Himachal Pradesh landscapes, various types of diverse habitats, and worked meticulously on and systematically on the collections. And we were exchanging a lot of interesting information about those days, where painstakingly the researchers used to go to the field, braving, the elements, the inclement weather and all, and never compromised on the quality of the research despite their personal discomforts and inhibitions. So 181 publications in more than 40 years, 14 PhD students, more than 11 MPhil students, several MSc students, that is what he has guided, But what I found interesting after going through the contributions of Professor Professor Atri was that he is right from basic mycology, teaching and training and research, to its application part, which is very important for students of fungal biotechnology in particular and microbial biotechnology in general. That is, how do you domesticate the wild species? Because we can go on naming, listing, cataloging the large biodiversity of the fungi or say macrofungi like mushrooms, but the question remains what they do and how we can employ them for human welfare, human benefit and for economic purposes. So in this regard, I am happy to tell you that we have here a mushroom biologist who has encouraged his students, researchers, young people, and there are several whom he has trained. I could see the list of the dissertation and PhD topics, who cultivated some of the species which we have never heard of. And they are nutritionally very important for a world which is now facing, due to the climate change and changing weather patterns, the rise of new diseases, pathogens, and many types of symptoms against which we do not have ready-made cures. And the world of probiotics, nutraceuticals is multiplying like anything, and mushrooms are considered as the food of the future. And in this regard, more than 10 species of edible mushroom he has developed as by way of new technology which has been transferred to several cultivators in North India. So if you go from Himachal Pradesh to the plains of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and extensively he has catalogued the biodiversity of these species, then cultured the species, described the species, and then developed the technology to control its life cycle in laboratory, which is a great achievement. It's not that easy. And converted the solid waste, that is the agro waste, which is plentiful in North India. You know, they are granaries of the whole country, Punjab, Haryana and all those. I was discussing with him how he cultivated Sphaerosulus and many lentinous species, and wheat straw, paddy straw, many types of substrate he has utilized. So it's not only the basic aspects of mycology, but also the applied aspect of the mycological science in action, that is a mycotechnology that Professor Atri and his students have developed. And more than 2 generations have benefited in North India from his expertise and his experience, and today we have such an examiner. Please give him a big hand to welcome. And I'm sure that our able candidate, who is a DST Inspire Senior Research Fellow, Rosie D'Souza, would be able to be guided by the next proceedings, which will be conducted by our honored external examiner, Professor Atri, and I request him here to conduct the proceedings hereafter. Thank you very much, and thanks for patient listening.
Thank you, Dr. Kamar, for the nice words, which I don't think I deserve. I am a student learner just like you, learning all the time, newer and newer things. There are many things to learn and implement. That is what I have been doing. So straightway, not taking much time, coming to the point, at the outset I will congratulate Rosie D'Souza for the nice work she has done. Excellent presentation, huge work, big thesis. One of the examiner has written that thesis should have been kept between 200 to 250 pages and something like that he has written. Had it been our times, one of my teachers, Professor S.M. Vasudeva, and even Professor M. Sharma, his PhD thesis in 2 volumes. 2 volumes, huge volumes, each volume of around 500 pages. Professor Mangleshwar Sharma in angiosperm taxonomy. He is a name to be reckoned with, who has written number of floras, original floras, not copied one, original floras. 2-volume thesis. S.M. Vasudeva, 2-volume thesis. And one of the examiners was Dr. Lovett. And he wrote, at that time no postage tickets were available, so the whole packet was laced with postage stamps. So he wrote one of the comments that India has so much stationery to waste that whole of the packet is laced with postage stamps, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 5 rupees stamps, and like that. We used to go by surface mail at that time, in our times. Nothing, no internet, no, all these things were not available. So this is not that big. It is a good amount of work you have done, and justifies the volume of the thesis which you have presented. Excellent work done, and you have to defend it before the audience. So I welcome you to present your findings. Better restrict to your findings, whatever you have actually done, and brief methodology, not going into historical perspectives, only findings and your conclusions. What conclusions you have drawn out of your work, and then justifying your work that yes, this is what I have contributed to science, and on this basis I deserve to be awarded a doctorate degree. That is what you have to justify during your presentation. So please come along, and you have to do it within, say, 30-35 minutes or maximum.